Yeah, I'm in office. Hello. Hey, everybody. Yes, I'm in office. It's Philip Wilkerson back with another episode of Eastern EACE Conversations with Bob and Phil. We're back with a very exciting episode. And thank you for those that showed flexibility while we had to reschedule this amazing episode with Miss Helen Brown and Miss Mallory Powell. But we're here. We're live. We're on the Facebook Live, and we're going to have a great conversation. But before we get into that and get into the show, we just have some announcements I'd like to make. On June 16th, we will be hosting, Eastern EACE will be hosting a virtual newcomers event. This is something near and dear to my heart because I think about 2 years ago, right? Is that correct, Bob? We were able to do this virtually and really get to know people. And this has just been a great event to allow people that are new to get acclimated to the organization, get to meet new people, chat it up in the chat, share their links. And so if you're a newcomer or not a newcomer, I still strongly encourage you to register because this could be a great opportunity if you're new to learn. And if you're been a seasoned Eastern EACE member to connect with some new people and take some people under your wing. Next, we also on Friday, this is a jam-packed week. We have another Eastern EACE Conversations with Bob and Phil with Chris Mirchek and Casey Hafferty, talking about technology and getting ready for the conference. So that will be this Friday at 1:30. We're very excited for that conversation and just, all the different things that they had to talk about as it relates to the conference. And then we also have the professional exchange. This is a long-term program, which is virtual this year. So make sure to check it out. These are the opportunities for not only employers, but career professionals to see what's going on, college career professionals, see what's going on in the different industries. There are virtual site visits. So this allows you to connect with those employers, learn about what's going on, the hiring trends and best practices. And then lastly, do I have the lastly? Yeah, I do. We have the conference. So I just wanted to share some tips real quick. Come to the conference if you can. I think you still can. Download the app. I use the app. It's fun. Check it out, play around, tinker. I'm a tinkerer, so check out the app. Visit the exhibits, when you get here. Visit the exhibits when you have a chance to. And then just make sure while you're there, participate in the selfie contest. I'm definitely going to get a fresh shape up. So when I take this selfie contest, I look good because, you got to look sharp for a selfie. But beyond that, just really participate, connect. But without further ado, Bob, let's get right into this episode, shall we? So I'm going to remove this. So, Bob, I'll give you the pleasure. Why don't you introduce our guest?
No, so thankful, Phil. Can't wait to see you in Atlanta. So crazy thing is we've never met in person. So I'm not even sure how tall you are. Like, that's how crazy it is right now. Like, I don't even know. So, but no, today, so excited to bring our friends from Vector Marketing, Helen Brown, Mallory Powell, Eastern EACE mainstays, former president, former committee chair. Thank you to both of you and welcome to the podcast with Bob and Phil.
Well, this is great. So, my first question I like to learn, is particularly take us through your journey. So go back in the time machine and both Helen and Mallory, please just take us to about the first time you got involved with Eastern EACE. What was the beginning? How did you get involved with this organization?
It's 20 years since I attended my first conference. 2002, Amy Pfeiffer was president. We were in Norfolk, Virginia, and I went to a conference. I was new in my role as campus recruiting manager for Vector, and I was told I had to go to this conference and had no idea what to do. And I was there alone, and I met two individuals, Kimberly Joy Dixon and Mariana Savoca, who basically took me under their wing. And I don't want to say the rest is history, but they took me under their wing and have had fun with them since. So that was my first start.
Yes. I started, my first conference was 2017, and I was relatively new to my role. And Helen said, "Hey, you're a part of this organization called Eastern EACE." And I said, "Great, what's that?" And she said, "You'll love it. We're going to this conference in Niagara." So I showed up and she said, "Oh, and you're also going to run a committee." And I said, "Great, sounds good." So I was blessed that Helen kind of paved the way for me, and it was part of my job requirement to be involved. So I jumped in head first and have been involved ever since.
Actually, Mallory, the first time you went to Eastern ACE
Oh,
was
that's right.
a couple years before that. She had just started working out of our Vector East headquarters as administrative assistant to our leadership team. And Trent Booth was doing some stuff with Eastern ACE, ran a workshop, did a workshop, presented, and brought someone along to help him and get to know Vector. And it was Mallory Powell.
Yes. So I was in Atlantic City.
She was in Atlantic City for a hot second, but she was there.
Well, this is full circle now. I'm coming back.
No, totally full circle. So Mallory, I can look to you saying that you closed down a hotel. So hopefully the Borgata will stay open, obviously, after Eastern ACE. But no, it's so, again, that was a legendary conference. Let's take a little quick pivot here. The job market is different than ever before. And obviously we have students coming out. What's the one thing you're looking for in a new hire that makes them stand out? And how do you help them kind of cultivate that skill? So Helen, I'll start with you.
We recruit students while they're in school. So we're not necessarily looking for seniors. We're looking for anywhere from high school graduates, freshmen, to seniors. And the biggest skill we're looking for is someone who is trainable and wants to learn skills. We recruit for sales positions, and a lot of companies want our students after they've learned the skills that they've gained working with us. I know Mallory is going to Florida ACE tomorrow. She'll still be at Eastern ACE, everyone. She's not cheating on us too bad. But she's going to Florida ACE, and she's doing a roundtable about the NACE competencies and how someone who works with Vector gains those competencies.
Yeah, I would say that is the main goal for us and all the students that work with us. We want them to work on those competencies and feel confident in them upon graduation so that they can then use their experience with Vector as a springboard into whatever it is that they want to do with the rest of their career. They're certainly welcome to stay with us, and many, many people have stayed with us for decades, but we know that that's not necessarily what they want to do, but we want them to feel as prepared as possible upon graduation.
Well, I love that. Bob, I think that really said it all, because I think, we have to exhibit those skills that we teach others. So Mallory, and then, Mallory, and then I like Helen to explain this, like, when has your experience, particularly at Vector and Eastern ACE, where you've been trainable or you have exhibited those NACE competencies? Because I think that this is things that these are lifelong career skills. So can you, bring that and say the trainable when it was exhibited by yourself, and Helen afterwards?
I think any time that I've stepped into a leadership role in Eastern ACE, whether it's being a co-chair of a committee or when I was put onto the board, in any of those situations, you have to be trainable. You have to be constantly learning. Hey, what is it that I'm supposed to do in this role, and how can I be the most effective person as a leader in this role? And I think that's one of the biggest things I would tell other people who are nervous to get involved. Half of it is just showing up and just being willing to learn. And once you do that, it's really not too difficult. And you just got to show up and be willing to figure out what it is you're supposed to do. And there's so many people that are going to help you along the way. Like, you're not flying blind in any situation in Eastern ACE.
Well, what about you, Helen? How's the trainable and those skills been exhibited by yourself and your experiences, both professionally and in Eastern ACE?
Yeah, I would say when I started 31 years ago with Vector last week. I was only a couple years old at that point. So I didn't, I had no, I don't want to say it wasn't self-confidence, but I never thought I was going to be in sales. When I started the job market, there was no one recruiting or hiring for summer work. And I saw an ad in something archaic called a newspaper. And that's how I found it. Didn't think I'd still be here 30 years later, but the skills that I've gained have made it. Every job I've had within Vector has been different. And then Eastern ACE, for me that was a huge growth opportunity to work with and just become great friends. And I know I haven't met you, Phil, but Bob, we go way back to the conferences, and it really is family. So for the first time in 3 years, we're all going to see each other next week, which is pretty cool. So yeah.
No, we love that. And can you both, I mean, both of you have been at the kind of the highest levels of leadership. Obviously, now you've been on the board and a committee chair and co-chair, and then obviously President Brown, or past President Brown here, obviously. Can you speak to some of the things you've gained from, your leadership time in Eastern ACE, and then can you talk to people out there that are kind of on the fence about joining a board or putting themselves out there? And can you kind of talk about what that process was for you, and then what's something you gained from that?
Go ahead, Mal.
Yeah, all right. So I would say it's a good opportunity to gain resume experience. If you don't have the opportunity to move up in your current role, getting the leadership experience at Eastern ACE, but boost your resume so then you can move up in your career at your institution or at your employer, whatever it may be. So that's what I would say. That's what I've kind of used it for, to gain the experience in this role that is completely different than what I did in the past. So I've learned so much in 5 years that if it was just in Vector, I may not have learned quite as much. But yeah, that's what I would say. Use it as a boost to your resume, if nothing else.
Yeah, it's an opportunity for us to network. So I don't want to use that word. I think that word gets thrown around a little bit, but we all need mentors, whether they be mentors that are senior to us or even mentors that are juniors to us. The keynote, Marcus Samuelson at NACE last week talked about how he has a mentor who's younger than him and is schooling him on technology and different things. And, we all have and need individuals that we can go to lend us an ear. And it's great to have those individuals inside and outside of our company. So they do this, they might work for a different company, but we need someone to talk through something as a challenge for us. That's a confidant, that's a mentor, that's outside. And I have to say, my biggest mentors and my biggest colleagues outside of working in Vector is from Eastern ACE, and past presidents, past committee members, past, people I served with on the board. There's that bond. And as you get older, and especially during the pandemic, it became even more difficult to have that. And I think it's great that I don't think it's great that Phil and Bob haven't met yet, but I think it's great that they have met. And then when they get together, it's going to be like, oh, that's how tall you are. But they know each other already, so.
Well, I'm 6'5", just for y'all knows. You know what I'm saying?
Bob still might be taller than you.
Yeah, I'm saying that's all cap. I'm not 6'5". But the main thing that I think that I express, and I love this free dialogue and some questions. I think I have kind of one for Mallory, then one for Helen. The one, Mallory, that I thought was, you said, I want to dive deeper into maybe a skill, like maybe using Eastern ACE, I needed to learn a little bit about finance. So I did the finance committee. So can you give us a little bit of a concrete experience? And then Helen, I have a question for you too as well. But Mallory, I want to dive deep in a little bit, like one concrete thing, like I need to boost my resume. I need this. And you did it with, your membership, being the board member of the membership or whatever.
I would say a skill that I've learned that I loved that Eastern ACE taught me was raising money, sponsorships. Mm-hmm. That is a skill that you could use anywhere, whether it's for your own department or for maybe if you're involved with a charity outside of work. That skill is so valuable and valuable to Eastern ACE or any other association that you would be involved in. So I was really happy that I talked to Noah Simon, I think, at my first conference, and he's like, you need to know how to do this. And I was like, yes, you're right. No, I do. So I thank you, Eastern ACE, for teaching me how to do that.
And then Helen, my question for you, obviously networking or mentorship is very important. And I think, that's definitely a high topic about finding mentors. But I think for some, it could be awkward or, not for, some, not including myself, because I'm always out there. But like, what was some, concrete tips? Like what, to build new relationships, taking advantage of conferences. What would you say to a new person? Like, how do you do this? Like, how do you do it naturally? Or, how would you give some people tips about finding a mentor, finding someone to connect with at these professional development opportunities?
So if you feel comfortable walking up to individuals at the conference, do that. But if you don't, and for some people, that's like terrifying, is get their name and connect with them on LinkedIn. Go look in the membership thing, send them an email. Everyone at Eastern ACE is welcoming, I have found. Mm-hmm. And this is a small thing is, the ribbons that are on the name badges. I'm personally not a fan of them because then someone who's newer feels, I understand it's there to say, hey, they're a past president or hey, they're a board member. Mm-hmm. There's someone that's to talk to. But if someone's new and an introvert, they get nervous about speaking to them. So I personally love this at the newcomers or, as a virtual meetup because it's going to give people the connection before the conference. So when they go to the conference, it's a little bit less intimidating. I personally was an introvert. I find myself to be introverted at times. My first Eastern ACE conference, I knew absolutely no one. I ate one meal in the room and got scared. And then I ate the rest of the meals in the restaurant by myself until Kimberly Joy and Mariana took me under the wing. Literally, they're like, hey, meet these people. So find someone who can introduce you to others, but get names, connect, connect there. So
I volunteer to introduce you to everyone if you don't know anyone.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely love that advice. And I love the authenticity and vulnerability because I definitely, knowing that you're a past president, I definitely cannot picture you eating meals by yourself or being that way. And so I bet that's a lot of tremendous growth that someone in their shoes could really take a lot of value. Like, wow, like I could have been, I'm shy too. So thank you for sharing that. That's really helpful.
You want to hear a funny story about that?
Yes.
So it was in Norfolk, Virginia, and I had eaten lunch by myself. And I went outside for a walk, and they were cleaning the windows because Mr. Marriott was coming. We were at the Marriott Hotel. Mr. Marriott was coming to the hotel to stay. Couldn't stay in the president's suite because Amy Pfeiffer had it. But he was coming to the hotel, so they were cleaning the windows, and some of the water splashed on me. And there's chlorine in that water. My whole outfit. So not only was I an introvert, didn't know anyone, my whole outfit had bleach stains all over, and I was wearing black.
Oh man.
Oh my God.
So did you change? Like, what happened? What you do?
I did change, and the Marriott gave me money for a new outfit. But I thought that was, so you never know what's going to happen at conferences. They're going to be funny at times. You know, that's so funny. So.
Oh my goodness, that's crazy. Want to give both of you a shout out time. I mean, I know you talked about mentorship. I want to ask both of you the same question, but then give you time. I know, Helen, you mentioned some people. Mallory, you mentioned some people as well. But so for someone seeking mentorship, what is a good mentee-mentor relationship look like? And then take this time to give shout outs. Obviously, if you miss someone, they will call you out. That's happened before, so be mindful to take and think. Just throwing it out there. But what's that good relationship look like? And just give us a list of people, other than the people we've already listed, that have supported your kind of growth in the organization. Mallory, why don't you go first?
So I love interacting with people in person. So anytime that I've had the opportunity to meet up with someone, whether go grab lunch with them, and just kind of pick their brain about anything in Eastern ACE, I do it. So I've, Craig Single, even you, Bob, Helen, obviously, Stacy, McClellan, everybody. Anybody. I try and get together with anybody I can that will hang out with me. I'm like, I'll buy you lunch if I can ask you all the questions. And you obviously don't have to do that in person, but just ask people to get a quick Zoom call and say, how did you do this in Eastern ACE? How did you become president? Just to see what their experience is and try and follow in their footsteps.
Yeah. Everyone that has mentored me, it's been great. We have, former past president and the late Marianne Tremelli, to Sam and Donna Radcliffe. Donna was president before me, and then Deborah DiTilio was president after me. To the board. I mean, it's just, it's family, and I can't mention everyone. We will be here forever, but it all just started off as conversations. It's just, sending an email, one of the things I did was everyone who was an award winner, I didn't know anyone. I saw they were award winners, and I just sent them an email congratulating them. Or before I was on the board, I would send them an email just saying congratulations on being in the board. And then conversations got started that way. And if you're an introvert and you're not, it's easier to put it out there in an email. So
I love it. I'm cheesing ear to ear because I'm not introvert, but I have used that technique. And so that's a gem right there, is that, people, you find an actual commonality. So I've done that. I think, Helen, I connected with you on LinkedIn saying, hey, you're a past president. I'm just interested in, I went through the list of all the past presidents and hit them on LinkedIn. And some people have been nice, like Manny hit me back, or all these people hit me back. And I was like, worst case scenario, I sent them this LinkedIn message. They could just ghost me. Best case scenario, they gave me a little bit of their time. And so I love that technique. And I do definitely do that too. When people win awards, I send them like a little LinkedIn, like congratulations on being Rising Star or whatever. And I go through the list of awards and give them some shout outs. But it's a great way to use the materials that are online to be strategic about that. So introverts and extroverts use that. That's a gem. You just dropped the gem there. So let's say, this is a webinar or whatnot, or a meeting, and they missed all these wonderful information. If you had one gem that you can share with the audience today, or the people that are listening, what would that one gem be? Like, like the thing, like, this is something I really want to drive home, Mallory, and I'll give you some time to think, while I fill it some time, maybe, talk about how tall I am while you think about your one gem.
So just to put it out there, Philip loves all the past Eastern ACE presidents. So even the ones that didn't hit him back, we don't want any.
Yeah,
no hate. Shade. Hey, no shade. No
there's shade. It's shade, but no shade.
No shade.
No shade, but shade. If you see me pending, I went through all of y'all. So I literally went and copied and pasted your name and sent. When you send a connection, I did add note, which is another gem. So if you're out there and you're a president and you leave me unread, you know it now.
Well, at least they left you unread versus read and no response.
Touche, Helen.
I take that.
And now I'm thinking, I know I connected with you, but did I respond to your email?
No, I take it. I take the connection though. That was good too. At least you know what your boy's doing. But what's the one gem? What's your one gem?
Helen, you could go first.
One gem would be to just don't be afraid. It's like, what's the worst thing that's going to happen? So I ran for treasurer once and lost. Then I became treasurer again. I became treasurer, and then or director of finance, whatever it is now. And then I ran for president, lost, and then became president a couple years later. And it's more of not being afraid, because I always say, well, what's the worst that's going to happen? The worst that's going to happen is I'm going to lose. And if I lose, oh well, you know. I think of that in my personal life too. It's like, well, what's the worst that's going to happen? And yeah, when you start thinking of it that way, it's usually not that bad.
Yeah. And we have so many amazing, smart, dedicated leaders and people in Eastern ACE that when two people run for a position, oftentimes I'm sitting there, I'm like, how am I supposed to choose one of them? Can they both play? Can we do co-president? Can we, like, it's so hard. So absolutely. Just get involved. It's what you're going to get way more out of it if you are involved versus if you're just kind of like a passive member of, I would say, anything. So showing up and be a part of a committee, co-chair a committee, so that way you can delegate all the work. You do less. It's great. So I recommend that.
Hey, and if you want to be part of the conference committee next year, I think Mallory is co-chair, correct?
I am, yes. So as excited as I am for Atlantic City, I'm even more excited for Baltimore.
Baltimore.
Well, okay, I forgot. Yeah. It was I thought I was let off surprise. I wasn't sure.
Is it? No, I think it's already on the website. We're good.
Okay.
if not, we've got breaking news here at EACE.
Breaking news. It's Baltimore. Surprise.
We'll go right to live to Mallory Powell.
For the next time in Eastern ACE, I'm getting kicked out after this.
Well, I know Jen Rossi's on here because I did see her come through, so yeah. she might tell us.
I think it's good. Hey, you know what? Natty Boat, whatever. We're good.
It's Natty Boat. I look at that. Look at you. No, that's awesome. So let me just. So thank you, Jen, for co-signing that. But just want to both thank you. Both of you have obviously given your time to many people in Eastern ACE, me included. So, which I'm truly appreciative of. As an organization, and obviously as Vector Marketing, you're going above and beyond to make sure that our students have tremendous opportunities, but also, you know, in Eastern ACE, making sure that experience is throughout. So I've gotten to know Helen, obviously, so many years ago now, right, Helen? I'm not sure how many years. I feel like it was a long time ago, and obviously Mallory. We can't thank you enough. I know we're closing out the show, but to both of you, thank you for taking the time. We cannot wait for Atlantic City, which is in a week and a half here. And then looking forward to all the great things after.
So I think we'd be remiss if there's anything beyond the gems, if anything professionally that you would like to share about Vector Marketing, please feel free to do so. And just whatever you're working on, or as Mallory did, if there's any committees or things that you're working on that you want people to be a part of. So I'll let you two share that as we close out, and then I'm going to share some announcements.
Helen?
Well, if anyone has any questions about Vector, we have been involved in Eastern ACE for over 20 years. We've changed a lot with our program. Our students gained great sales experience, and with the pandemic, we had to pivot, and a lot of things are online now and virtual. So if you have any questions, if you've heard something, ask us. Mallory's available, I'm available, and the students gain a great experience working with us.
Yeah, I feel like I get a question every day and I'm like, oh wait, actually we changed that a year ago. So anytime you need an update on our program, we're happy to help out.
Well, thank you so much. I'm going to take y'all off gently, like I did last time. This
there
time.
You go. There you go.
I'm getting better. I'm getting better at taking people off.
Oh, smooth.
Yeah, it was better. And I just want to go back and do a recap. Conference next week. Come through Atlantic City, some tips, connect.
Hey, before you go, 1 day rate now. So I know a lot of people may not be able to get that budget for a full conference. come through for the day. I can tell you Eastern ACE is, for your money, the best engagement experience you're going to find at a conference in the career development counseling world. It's local, it's close by. You probably even find a cheap hotel or stay at the Borgata and make it kind of a vacation for yourself. But that one day would be a memorable experience if you did opt into that as well. Sorry, guys, Phil.
No, that's perfect. I'm glad you said it because I didn't really think about that. So one day or come the whole time. This is good. Also, professional exchange, as well as the conversation on Friday. And then make sure if you're a newcomer or not a newcomer and you have availability, join the newcomer event. And then thank you so much for joining this episode. Thank you so much, everyone, and take care.